Today's lesson focus on the next step, what it means by being wise. That helps transcend the I thought, or that helps transcend the commander in chief of all the impurities. As long as this commander in chief is active, we have to pay the price. Related to this, don't leave the journey in the middle. But related to this, then ask yourself, how do you find the journey? What changes has taken place in your thought, in your speech, in your action, in your behavior, in your responses? Are you feeling the change in your daily living? If it is not, then we are accepting the entire teaching as impulsive and habitual. How many times you were upset since the last session? Anxious, awfully busy since the last session? The best part is that now we can count on fingers. Oh, hardly 2 times. And then I recovered. Why relatively mind remains calm, relaxed, and poised? We discussed last time, we have no right to die before we discover our real self, so that from moment to moment we live in that state of calmness and peace. We are discussing about the impurity of the mind. So, how to know there is a purity of the mind? Or I have a hidden in the mind insecurity, a sense of dissatisfaction, and unhappiness. These three are the effects of all the impurities in the mind. So, if you find it is very easy for you, that how many times you were upset, felt strong likes and dislikes, hatred and love, so-called attachment, and you have taken a right action, that is being wise. We will understand that what it means by being wise. How much I was busy, so-called fully busy. I'm not saying don't do any professional activities, don't do any social activities, but internally, that mental space is already there all the time. And if mental space is all the time is present, you are awake and aware, that is one thing, and you are awake and impulsive, that is second thing. Did you understand? What should I do? I don't see that there are a lot of problems. I'm awake and still impulsive. So if I change my expression, what I need to do, I need to be aware, my friends, awake and impulsive. So it means I have accumulated all the teachings at the intellectual level and I'm not purifying the mind. Don't you see, maybe a person in the family or in your friend or in your profession, your mind says, no, 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 I'm not going to talk to this guy or a girl. Ah, no, no. He or she gets upset. We know a lot of people around us. So awake and impulsive and awake and aware. How many times I felt the world is responsible for my suffering, then I will become fully busy. So the hidden in the mind, that sense of insecurity, dissatisfaction, unhappiness, is already present in the mind. They are going to trigger us, do whatever we want to do. Another part of understanding is that how much my mind is purified, what is the recovery period? We get upset, no issue. But how fast we recover, how fast we retrieve ourselves. Now you can add with aware and awake, and awake and impulsive. How life is going on, just I have lot of challenges. Awake and impulsive. That woman I told you in New Jersey, every time she saw the clouds in the sky, she said, it makes me upset and depressed. Awake and impulsive. I can give you millions of examples of this awake and impulsive. We have to purify the mind to find the real self. That is our goal. So, what is happening in our life? Peace, calm, and the poise in our thought, speech, and action in daily life and living. Or I would say, you wake up in peace and you sleep in peace. What is going to happen? I was talking to Stephen yesterday that hours of the sleep will be reduced and you will have a deeper sound sleep. You can defy the scientific understanding that minimum we need an 8 hours of this sleep. You need not to worry about it. Follow that scientific, but as you continue, the purity of the mind and the relationship of your sound sleep. Your mind is pure, you hardly need 2 or 3, 4 hours of the sleep. The mind is impure, it means you have a lot of the thoughts going on in your mind, you need more hours of the sleep. And the science clearly says that, say for example, if you sleep for about 9 hours, so the 6 hours is your REM sleep. 2/3 is your REM sleep, rapid eye movement. Or you can simply say thoughts are already present. Only 1/3 of the time we have a sound sleep. So now related to the impurity of the mind, 2/3 impurity of the mind. Let the mind become totally pure. What is going to happen? 1/3 hours of the sleep is reduced. Did you understand that? No, the moment I wake up, I have lot of problems. It is better to remain asleep. A lot of people do that. No, let me sleep for another 2 hours. Let me sleep. Let me take a nap for another hour. That means the impurity of the mind is pushing you to fall into unconsciousness. You want to avoid it. Why you want to avoid? Dissatisfaction, insecurity, unhappiness is there. You don't want to face that. You might be remembering a lot of events and incidents in your life where you used to follow this routine. So, the purity of the mind, do you remember it works as a shock absorber? It gives you a sense of emotional freedom. So that, we normally sometimes say, I'm very sensitive. Orange trees in Arizona are also very sensitive. They adapt themselves. Everything is sensitive in life. Those who have a life. But they adapt themselves. They respond to that sensitivity. In Eastern wisdom, we say it is emotional dependence. So as you purify the mind, there is a sense of emotional freedom. mind awakens to what is right and good in your life. Naturally, yes, naturally. You need not to go to the Harvard to find out what is right and good. There is a rise in awareness, natural state of peace and the calm. Lot of other our so just to remind you that purification of the mind, we first talked about the purification of the mind. The first method is the conventional method. We discussed about how to connect, contribute, and celebrate. So, there also we discussed that if we connect, contribute, and celebrate life at every moment with I thought, with Commander in Chief, problem will definitely be there. Whether problem will be hidden, problem will be expressed. So that is why we have to use this mind, if I say so. We have, through that mind, we have to connect, contribute, and celebrate, not to separate, isolate ourselves mentally and emotionally. That was the first, but the best method is the self-inquiry. But in between that, we also discussed about Mangalacharan, invoking, making your life entering into auspiciousness every day in the morning through that thought. And that is why we have lot of mantras. So you can use this mantra also. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. I would simply say you wake up in the morning and repeat it intellectually, at least for a week. The impact of that message remains present throughout the day. Your mind, when it wants to become impure, you will be able to retrieve the step. Just try, do an experiment. That is why we have these mantras. Let everyone be happy, let everyone be in peace. But intellectually you are doing it, but at the same time you are aware. So what is going to happen? Yesterday you reacted, you were angry over someone, for example, honey, and now you are saying, let everyone be happy. Oh, so if I become angry, that makes my honey happy? And you have an answer. I'm not going to say the answer, you know. So you attack through the conventional methods using this auspiciousness. We discussed that the self inquiry is the best means. Self inquiry is the best means. All the masters, ultimately, they have millions of rites and rituals, and because I'm not able to grasp, I'm not able to understand it. So these masters have introduced hundreds of rites and rituals. But once my mind is ready, it is prepared, we should go for the best method, that is the self-inquiry. First condition of the self-inquiry, I have to be in a waking state. Self-inquiry is done in a waking state. At the same time, I apply the conventional method so that my outer social, professional, and family life do not have any issues and challenges. Otherwise, what happens? You don't apply the conventional method, you have some issue with, or either in relations or situational stress, if I say situational stress, incidental stress, eventful stress can be removed by conventional methods that we discussed. But if you don't apply those conventional methods, your mind keeps running. Then in that state, you cannot apply the self-inquiry. Now, why the self-inquiry is the best? So we have We will understand in the future lesson that all the impurities are caused by the ignorance, the wrong notion. The mind keeps those false notions as real, true notions, and that is why the mind is constantly wandering. So, why the self inquiry is the best method? Because it removes the cause of the impurities. The impurities are effect of emotional bondage, dissatisfaction, unhappiness, a long list. I discussed that before. So the cause is the ignorance. So here the ignorance is not illiteracy. We are going to understand. So best method, why it is a best method? Because it removes the cause. So after understanding that we need to remove those impurities, we are aware that what are these impurities? You have to experiment. You have to be conscious, aware and awake. I like this guy. He or she makes me happy. And then what happens? Then he does something against you. So instant the mind moves to the dislike. The same person makes you happy at one time, makes you unhappy at the other time. Is it the responsibility of that person to keep you happy or make you unhappy? Or it is because of the likes and dislikes we have in the mind? So simple to understand. We don't need very high IQ to understand this. But what happens that our focus remains on that person outside. Why the focus remains on the outside? Because my mind, commander in chief, says that this world outside is responsible for my stress and suffering. You see, this is what the inquiry is. So we have likes and dislikes, one pair. The trio is desire. If it is fulfilled, we want to repeat that desire. So repeat desire is greed. It may happen in any event in relationship. Oh, very nice to meet you. So, and that ultimately you enjoy the sense of the pleasure meeting a person, and you want to meet that person again and again. Or if the desire is not fulfilled, the mind is already agitated. A sense of dissatisfaction is already there in the mind, and that causes the sensitivity. Then we start saying, I'm very sensitive. What should we do? Remain sensitive. Third pair is ego and the selfishness. That pair. So we discussed about that the commander-in-chief is the ultimate. Where to find all these impurities in the mind? In a waking state. So we have to deal with the waking state. That how to think, speak and act. What we do in the waking state, we think, speak and act. With reference to a situation, in reference to a relationship, with reference to a people, event, whatever we want to say. The commander-in-chief of all these impurities is now question comes, how to get rid of this commander-in-chief? So the master in this Eastern wisdom suggests that be wise. Be wise or otherwise. Be wise or otherwise. Otherwise means you are awake and impulsive. You have a strong likes and dislikes. You already have an over expectation from the world, from a situation, from an event. So that is one way to understand. Are you wise or otherwise? So if I translate that verse, a wise person, even in his waking state, is not these, persecuted by these impurities in the same manner as they persecute an ignorant individual who ever deserves pity. You attend the session late. I have no right to be angry. It's your problem. No, I'm just saying it. It's your problem. Think. So now let us understand, go a little deeper. So here the master says we should understand who is foolish and who is wise. First thing is the waking state. Awake and aware. When we are awake and impulsive, the impurities of the mind have their full and free play to express themselves. Now, see, awake and aware. We get upset and we say, "No, I'm sorry, I got upset on the wrong thing." What it means? Awake and impulsive. So I translated that to give a new expression. Can you be upset tomorrow at 8 a.m.? I could see the smile. It is not possible. Not only I am awake, but I am aware. Can you deliberately, intentionally become angry and upset? Answer is no. Yes. So second step to understand means that these impurities can only attack us when we are not aware. What it means by aware? I am living my life consciously. Reverse this. I am not aware when my mind is moving with the strong likes and dislikes, attachment and detachment that we can recognize, isn't it? We can recognize that. I am being attacked by a sense of attachment over expectations, strong likes and dislikes, guided by the commander in chief. That is one way to see it. And that is why I told you it demands conventional methods to be applied. Now, I don't feel like talking to that guy. My master said, "You have to talk." No, I hate that guy. No, you have to talk. But you have to talk. How? Aware and awake. So it means my mind is thinking of the sense of strong dislikes, and still I'm consciously talking to that person. Conventional method. Conventional method. Can we do that? We destroy our relationship over small things. Do you agree that? So there you consciously crushing the impurities of the mind. Are you getting it? Aware and awake. Mind says, "I hate this guy." No, and tell the mind that I will love. What I have to do by hating? It doesn't bring me anything. Why? Are you helping the other person? No, you are helping yourself. You are taking over the mind. Once you do it one time, and you will see that the impact of that remains for about a week. Your mind enjoys that sense of freedom. Why? Because that strong likes and dislikes do not dare to enter into your mind. It does not cause attachment or detachment. It demands a tremendous courage, internal courage, not outside. So, those who are wise, another way to understand, those who are wise, there's another verse, I see that. The wise man, due to his wisdom, has discovered how to live high above the clouds of impurities. They are still present. They have yet to be transformed. They have yet to be removed. But you are wise. Another way to understand what is being wise, you check that your commander in chief is ripe or unripe. If it is unripe, it is going to cause a lot of issues. If it is ripe, it is going to bring a purity of the mind. Another way to understand. DD. So first DD is dispassion and not discernment and dispassion, and there is another pair of DD, delusion and depression. I'm not going into the modern psychology definition of depression, but when our master says that when we are already attacked by these impurities of the mind, we are in delusion and we are in the state of depression. It is yet to manifest, but my mind is already cooking a story that you are crazy, you should come and then I will teach you a lesson. But mind keeps on thinking, isn't it? Did it not happen to you? Today I will teach him. Today I will teach him so that you can live into that state of depression and delusion for about a week. Last thing that is very important, I read, but I forgot that. I forgot the name of that researcher almost 20 years back. You know the impurities, and if these impurities live in our mind in 3 degrees, the highest level, the intermediate level, and the lowest level. So if it live in your mind at the highest level, it is very difficult for you to recover for about a week. The impact of that remains for about a week. So that scientist did the research on anger. Why we get angry? Because my desire is not fulfilled. So I'm using the same understanding. So if that hesitation is there in the mind and it is at the highest level, the impact remains for about a week. It has to disturb your sleep, your speech. You have a low energy. How are you? I'm doing fine. Okay. As if you are the only person who is suffering in the world. So you have a totally a different expression. Have you seen me any time in these years? So we recognize at a very subtle level. Oh, this is what is happening to me. And at the intermediate level, this mid level, they say it remains for about 3 days. The lower level, we can cope up easily. Whereas the masses, you wake up in the morning and you say, my mood is upset. No, I don't feel good in a good mood. Find out what is the cause behind. What happened last week? Where your mind reacted and reacted. We hide our reaction intellectually. Others do not know, but we know it. We know it, and I carry forward aware and impulsive nature. Now, awake and impulsive nature. And if I'm awake and aware, I know the solution. I have to make this commander in chief is arrive. I have to move to the discernment and dispassion and other options that I have discussed. Let us start our journey. Eyes are closed. Just over time, Arizona time doesn't change. So that's why we continue at 8. So, eyes are closed, body is comfortable. Find out, are you a seeker? I'm challenging your mind. Yes, I'm a seeker. So, find out the most comfortable position of your body. Any position will do. Don't get carried away by any uh, any wrong notion. Oh, I have to overstretch my spine and then only I will succeed. No, forget about those. We are all seekers. So, being in that state of comfort in the body, we experience, and eyes are gently closed. It is symbolic. So, what is symbolic? Eyes are closed gently. We can even practice with eyes open. We will do that. That will help us to move to 24 by 7, that state of consciousness. So we go a little deeper. Deeper means what? We are wise. Any phrase that you pick up and you support listening and learning and instruction. So you are awake and aware, you move the mind on the neck joint, means you are aware of it. You experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. You see, I've been using being comfortable and being carefree since the beginning, in the last almost 4 years now. But we bring a qualitative change by understanding, by knowledge. Last time I think I picked up, look at the neck joint, be there, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. It is a subtler level of awareness. Subtle. Neck joint is physical, this is mental experience, and subtler than that is the space. I become aware of the space, and I said space is awareness, and awareness is space. You can make the mind softer, gentler, away from the impurities in a fraction of a second if a seeker is wise. Shoulder joints, be there. Sensation, comfort, and steadiness, and the space. So, objection of the mind comes in a different way. Look at the entire body physically. That's okay. The instruction seems to be rightly understood. Then I say, look inside, experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Where is the objection comes from the mind? Oh, inside the body, it's a, it's a bone and it's an organ in the system. What you are talking about? Where is the sensation, comfort, and steadiness? Now, how to understand that? It's a rise in consciousness. Moving inside here means rise in consciousness. What do you mean by rise in consciousness? From the physical, you move to the subtler level. So, what is going to happen? You are already awake and you are now deeply, intensively aware. I believe you got it. So, now being comfortable, another part that you have to contemplate and reflect. Why don't I say become comfortable? I always use the word being comfortable. And now being carefree. I don't say become carefree. Become carefree, first understand carefree. Free from the cares of the mind. The mind cares. And the mind is like a highway. The lane number one, unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. Lane number two is the intellect. Did I talk about discernment and dispassion? Yes, lane number two, discernment and dispassion lives there. So that in the state of discernment and dispassion, the mind starts looking at the lane number three, what it means. That is what the being carefree is. You have unwanted, unwelcome thoughts, you are aware, you are awake. Thoughts are coming and going. You do not run after them. It can only happen by discernment and dispassion. And the mind starts looking at the lane number three. You are already carefree. Even you have crazy thoughts, you have thoughts with attachment. So I made it very clear that what you do, you understand that like the highway, you have three lanes, like the mind, mental highway, you have three lanes. First lane, if you are awake and aware, you recognize unwanted, unwelcome thoughts are coming. The intellect knows that you have to listen to me only until this session. They are instructions. So you make a choice. Unwanted, unwelcome thoughts or the thoughts I am passing on to you in the form of instructions and understanding. So you remain in the lane number two. 60% of the battle is won. Until the mind starts looking at the lane number three. What is in the lane number three? Calm and poise. We will talk about it. We will go deeper into being carefree, observer and observed, known and the knower. We have done the discernment, and that is why we feel the calm. And now we replace. Now we directly move to the lane number two in the state of aware and awake. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. If you are not doing with the lane number two, it will not benefit you. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. So we use the mantra that helps to trigger the brain. And second part of this mantra is the meaning. Meaning is let everyone be happy. Third part is the knowledge. We reflect on it. Are we doing a self-inquiry? Yes. We have been doing it, but now you understand it clearly. So why I ask the question, why I say that, let everyone be happy? The master says happiness is the essential nature of every living species. How can you say every living species looking for happiness? Whether they know it means consciously, whether they don't know it. How can you say? Touch any, even the mosquito finds insecurity and flies away. It wants that sense of comfort. Elephant, tiger. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Let let there be peace for everyone. Let everyone be in the peace. And the same logic applies. How to receive the knowledge and retain the knowledge, to understand it clearly that I want to be angry over you and we both are seeking peace. Is it possible? Why I explain to that? Ripe commander in chief. Look at it. It changes in a fraction of a second. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Let everyone be complete. Let everyone discover the completeness. Everyone. We are not addressing the matter, which is inert. We are addressing all the living species. Mango tree is complete in itself. Mosquito is complete in itself. Tiger is complete in it itself. We are also incomplete in ourselves, but we find that we are incomplete. No other living species finds that. And why? Because of ignorance. Why the ignorance is? Because of impurity. So what happens because of impurity? I live my life unconsciously, impulsively, habitually, seeking peace and happiness from the world outside, which is not there. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Invoking what is right and good. That is being auspicious. And now looking deep inside the forehead means almost you are looking at the lane 3. If I use the word, you know it. There you are dropping Om Shanti. You are dropping Om Shanti there. And then you start gentle and a short breathing through both the nostrils into your chest. Keep on doing. You can recognize how the impurity of the mind attacks you. How come the commander-in-chief says, no, I cannot do like this, for so long. Let me stop. Let me change the breath. Let me move the body. How to counter that? Awakened. You know the word aware. Look at the subtle nature of the journey. Keep on. Keep on. We are also checking the endurance of the mind. we are also checking how much the mind has changed. We are doing it 3 minutes each breath. And stop it. Do you still remember what step we followed with? Recognize and accept the changes you are experiencing. It may be tingling, it may be numbness, it may be cold and the heat, it may be the vision and the colors. And the explanation is there in one teaching. And now start breathing with Om Shanti into the belly. It's a longer breath, longer than the chest breathing. And you are inhaling and exhaling into your belly. Belly means what? When you inhale, the belly goes out. When you exhale, the belly goes in. Keep on. The mind, because of the impurities, is heavily conditioned. It does not want to leave the comfort zone. And we want the mind to leave the comfort zone by such breathing with the mantra. I'm trying to translate that into a modern language and expression. Keep on. Body remains steady, aware and awake. Why? You know that you are breathing into the belly, not into the rib cage. You are aware and attentive and awake. Why? Only in a waking state we can purify the mind. You see, all the principles can simultaneously apply. Keep on. Continue. You can feel it with the noise of the breathing that I'm breathing into the belly, not into the ribs. Who understands this? Intellect. What is that moment, aware and awake? You can apply. Oh, aware and awake, I'm being wise. To drop the commander-in-chief. And now stop this, recognize, accept the changes in the experiences we are having at this moment. We notice them, we recognize them. But don't feel too much of important, otherwise your mind will say, oh, this guy is having a lot of experiences and I don't have. No, that's not required. Om Shanti continues, and now do the third breathing both into the belly and the chest. You inhale. First into the belly, then into the chest. You exhale from the belly and the chest. Consciously. So if I use the word consciously, you are aware, awake, and attentive. But why? Being wise. But why? Commander-in-Chief should be right. It will follow what is right and good. We don't need too many sessions then. But normally it doesn't happen. Continue, my friends. Continue 3 minutes each. We will continue for a couple of sessions, and sometime then we will have a variation. We will change and see that how it helps us to evolve. And stop this, do nothing, recognize, experience the changes. Why we recognize and accept these changes? We are aware, awake. Why I need to be aware and awake? I gave you the series. You have to contemplate and think. That principle should be set in your mind. Why? To give an intensity to the conventional method. And now is the time. Look inside the heart, in the cave of the heart. Visualize a triangle of any color. Will do. Pointing equilateral triangle pointing upward. I believe you still remember the side, pointed awareness on the side of a triangle, movement of the mind on the side of a triangle. Om Shanti. 3-pointed awareness, clockwise, anti-clockwise. Why? Mind has been checking you for so long. Now you're asking the mind, now I am the boss. Who is that boss? Commander-in-Chief, right? Commander-in-Chief. Understand it. So you will discover the sync. Oh, the 3-pointed awareness syncs. The moment it syncs, sing mentally, push the mind. Now you've taken over the mind. Do you see that I have started that expression in a couple of sessions before? So you are singing Om. So Om is pushing the mind deep inside the center of the triangle, going into the cave of the heart. The mind seemingly stops. You're just aware and awake. You know it. The moment it seemingly stops, drop Shanti, and you discover a conscious self absorption. Commander in Chief is gone. Just a pure awareness. No issue if it doesn't happen. If your mind doubts. Mind doubts, return to the triangle. Sink. Once it sinks, go back. Om Shanti. I'm not saying that it will happen today only. And now the last step that you already know. 16 segments of the four fingers. Mind's eye looks at, mind's touch, mind's speech. Mentally you say Om Shanti. The mind's eye is looking, mind's skin is touching, mind's speech, his tongue is speaking, mind's ear is listening. So you are not actually touching that finger by the thumb, tip of the thumb, but awareness of the touch, that means feel, awareness of the sight. We are going in a very deeper and a higher journey, and that is why we have added this step. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Doing nothing, remain as you are. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, Open the eyes inside. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. Not only we share our experiences, so if you have any question, you can also ask. How are you, Stephen?
Good, thank you. Living wisely, definitely awake and aware.
Good.
The meditation was extremely fast, and it was there. I don't believe there was a single thought during that. The only thing that I felt or was I'll use the term shaken by was this intense pulsation in my right hand during the japa. And that's it.
Beautiful. You know, you are already editing a book on Hatha Yoga, so there we have already read the changes in the sensation and the experiences. So we are going to talk about that, how those sensation and the experiences takes place and what exactly it means. That will come up beautiful. How are you, David and Jerry?
Good morning. Thank you. It was very good. I started the practice in deep in lane one, and as soon as we closed our eyes, it just started to elevate or shift or whatever to lane two. I was extremely aware during the entire thing, and I probably got to lane three really quickly because I was aware of nothing. And cold. My body was very, very cold.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, we will talk about that, how those experiences are related to the different stages or different states of the mind. So that we are going to do. And the best part is that I think, that my instruction, make your mind absorb. Lane one, unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. Lane two, intellect. Intellect means discernment and dispassion. So the mind starts looking at the lane number three, which is calm and poise and nothingness. So how long it takes? Don't ask that question. It takes a fraction of a second. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. The lesson was really great. I'm always surprised, and then I'm surprised that it's in alignment with our day-to-day always. So it seems ironic, but of course it isn't.
Yeah.
And the awareness when that enemy or that stranger at the door, the unwanted thoughts or the past behaviors that kind of rear up every now and then, the awareness is there. It's almost an internal feeling that's the awareness that's there. So you recognize it straight away. And then the meditation, I was completely absorbed, and I didn't even realize that we did the japa. So I'm not sure. I must have lost the direction at one point. I know I was not asleep, but I didn't do the japa.
No, it's okay. The best thing that you came out, if I take from your sharing the experiences, that in our daily life, now the response of the mind is totally different than it was in the past. Why? Because we live into that awareness. We can be aware. No, we are already awake. So in being awake, we can be aware and we cannot be aware. Do you see that subtle difference? And that makes the tremendous change in our daily living. You rightly said, thank you for sharing. How are you, Sam? Where is Sam? Yes, here is.
Hi. The meditation today was light and effortless. And I also felt some serious sensations during the japa. Yeah, I was dealing with a little bit of physical pain. My neck has been pretty sore the last couple of days, but that all went away during the meditation.
Yes, it has to go away because we transcend that commander in chief which is always attached to the impurities. And that impurities causes these challenges. We have a wrong notion. The first impression is the last impression. What is the first impression? You look people through your sense organs. What is about first impression about me? Long beard and mustaches. So we say in Eastern wisdom, the first impression starts from the mind. How the mind lives. How are you, Barbara?
I'm very good, thank you. It was a very deep meditation for me. When I was entering the cave of my heart, I felt a feeling of expansion, that I was expanding from within, and I've never felt that before. And I have a question. I guess I don't know if this is what I asked before, but the question is, what would the world look like if everyone was evolved and lived in a state of complete consciousness, pure consciousness?
We are already aware of the world if it is full of stress and suffering. So the answer is obvious. Answer is obvious that when everyone evolved and lives into that state. So Eastern wisdom says there are 4 stages of this entire human evolution at a particular time. There are the 4 stages of the time. It's a long topic, but I'll tell you. First is known as the Sato Yuga, in which everyone was evolved and the life was moving smoothly. Second was 25% less. Third stage, 50% less. At present, we are living in the 4th stage. Everywhere we find the stress and suffering. So I will take up that topic in detail. I gave you Brandy. How are you?
I'm fine. My experience is really similar to David's. I started out pretty heavy in lane 1 and then just moved over. So it's good. Thanks.
Yeah, moving to the lane 3 instantly. How long it takes you to pacify your anger? What it takes to pacify my anger? Answer the 2 questions. What it takes? Just an awareness. Awaken awareness. That is what happens. That's wonderful. How are you, Christina?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I started in the beginning feeling this rush of heat and saw red everywhere. And then there was a point at which I was awake but not aware. And at the end of the 3 minutes, I was still doing the breath and was surprised that I was still there.
Able to do it.
Yeah.
The best part, you see that what she, why I don't push you all that if you do this practice, you will have these experiences, because then your mind is already conditioned. If you don't have, then you feel pity on yourself. So that is why I always ask, you have to share those experiences. So first experience is the rush of heat is nothing but the release of your past impression. So let it happen. You continue the journey. And you told us the beautiful, I was awake, but I was not aware. And it means if I'm awake and not aware, I have every opportunity to remain awake and to be aware. And that is going to bring about a tremendous change in our life. So don't look at these practices just outer practices. No, it has an inner significance. How are you, Terry? Terry is your neighbor, Christina.
I think I was most of the time in lane 2. And
Good.
for most of the practices, it was just making the space
Good.
bigger.
That's good. That is an expansion.
And the only one was the triangle that I couldn't get it to sync up. And so then I just had to move on.
Yeah.
And I guess that's about it.
You see, Terry, if I don't know what is the problem, how can I find the solution? So at least I'm aware that I'm not able to sync. So that is awakened awareness. So if I consciously doing with awakened awareness and I repeat the practice, I'm going to change.
Because usually you don't mention it being a color. And then I got distracted going, oh, what color? and then I'm like, oh, should I go this way or this way? And I just get distracted by those details that are kind of
Yes.
not the point.
Then normally I don't talk about that the way you all share your experiences. I can pick up where the mind is because we are moving ahead together. Then you can understand where my mind is when you have those thoughts and feelings. It is everything is there in Eastern wisdom. It is not that I have to hide anything, but let the time come. How are you, Samir? We are not listening to you. My computer god is okay today. Your computer god is not okay. No, we don't hear. Anyhow, you keep on trying. So how do you show?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
It was very nice, and sometimes it was awake and aware, and sometimes it was only awake only, not aware.
Yes.
Regularly, I mean, trying to be aware and awake both, and looking at our commander in chief, what he's doing, where he's going, where is he, what he's saying.
I'm so happy that everyone is clear about awake and aware. Awake and aware, the impurities cannot attack me, even if they are present inside. I'm in race against you, but I'm aware and awake. I will hold on. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And that is a big change in our life. That we normally not able to do it. Sam, did you get it?
Yes.
Yes. So, how are you, Sangeeta?
What peaceful thoughts everything.
Very peaceful and calm, she went inside. Wonderful. And can we go back again to Samir if he can speak? Maybe my computer god has attacked your computer. That's why you are not able to speak. Why I said, so you all are laughing. That is what our mind does in our relationship. Are you getting it? Definitely it does it. If you look back, it definitely does it. That is all for today. Wonderful. Thank you very much for joining
Thank you,
us.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.